Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I want to add my thanks to Senator Baldwin for sharing that story with us, and I actually may have a question pertaining to how we make sure that families are truly involved in the care for their loved ones if I have time within my strict 5-minute limit. But I wanted to come back to Dr. Patrick to expand on this conversation about neonatal abstinence syndrome. A few years ago, Yale Children's Hospital conducted a quality improvement study to look at how to best care for these kids. And what they attempted to do was build a really comprehensive non-pharmacological approach to caring for these infants. That meant low stimulation rooms, swaddling, soothing, feeding on demand, trying to enhance the bond between mother and child. The results were really extraordinary. Average length of stay in the NICU went from 28 days to just over 8 days. Morphine treatment in the NICU decreased from 98% to 44%. And my question is, how important is it to prioritize non-pharmacological treatment for NAS? And are our hospitals ready for this? I mean, you have to have more nurses, you have to have dedicated physical space in order to do this right. How important is this treatment, and are we ready to do more of it?
Well, my colleagues at Yale have done built a wonderful program. It's vital. Non-pharmacologic care is vital. We find as we do that in our hospitals, we're using less morphine. So what would you rather have? Would you rather have your mother or morphine? Putting moms and babies together, creating that environment is so important. And as far as whether hospitals are ready for it, I think we do have challenges in many communities, particularly rural communities. We know in states like ours, in Tennessee, and my birth state, West Virginia, there's a really high number of opioid-exposed infants, and sometimes the neonatal intensive care unit is the only pediatric place in that hospital. So I think when we think about how this is implemented, how do we begin to de-escalate the care that we provide for infants and create a model where families can stay together, I think it may look slightly different in different hospitals. Hospitals that may not have the resources that Vanderbilt has to support lactation. We have a child life specialist who's building a cuddler program, so if moms can't be there, we're able to support that. I think it's going to look different a little bit everywhere, but it is vital.
Direct this to Dr. Bell, but Ms. Savage, if you have thoughts as well. I want to talk about what happens when a child hits the age of majority. One of the things we talked about in the Mental Health Reform Act of 2016 that this committee and this Congress passed is looking at HIPAA laws and how they may create barriers at age 18 for the parents to stay involved in the care of a loved one, a child who may have complicated comorbidities, addiction, and mental illness. We want to respect the privacy rights of adults, but we also want to make sure that if the doctor feels it's in the best interests of that child when they go from 17 to 18, that the parents can still, at the very least, know about when the appointments are so that they can help that 18-year-old stay on schedule. I just wanted to pose that question to you about how you think about making sure that families stay integrated in care when you have that transition to the age of majority.
You know, I think that it is important for young people, particularly entering adulthood, to have as strong a support system around them as possible. One of the things that we have wrestled with in the child welfare services area around privacy has always been being able to help the individual understand why this is helpful to them. And it's a very complicated legal matter in trying to override someone's right to privacy. But I do believe the relationship is the most important factor in getting people to accept that this is helpful to me as opposed to invasive to me. But we have to respect privacy, but I do believe that there's possibilities through relationship being able to get that done.
Great. Well, I know we got other people who you want to sneak in, so I'll yield back the rest of my time. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Senator.